We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you all for braving the rain and coming out tonight. We always appreciate a good crowd, especially on open mic night. Before we say the pledge, well, let's go ahead and do the pledge. Mr. Fleck, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Again, welcome to this open mic night meeting on January 2nd of 2019, and I would like to say Happy New Year to you all, and I certainly hope you all have a great year ahead of you. I would, for the record, Councilmember Tizer and Councilmember Judy have excused absences, and I have not heard from Councilmember Zapata, so I will read it into the record when he arrives. Ladies and gentlemen, this is open mic night. We're here to listen, so if you'd like to come forward and speak, please be sure to fill out a comment card and go ahead and come forward and speak. Yes, please come forward.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Whoa. Thank you very much for having this, even though it's not on the last Monday. I just have a couple of things to say. About 50 years ago, I taught government to Hispanic and African American kids in Sacramento. Government by the people, for the people is really, really an important thing to me. That's why I took time to teach them English and government. I just want to remind you all that the U.S. is a republic, not a democracy. It is a republic which is a representative democracy. The people elect leaders who listen to their voices. That's the operative word, listens to their voices. And then they vote based upon the voices of the people, not about what they decide in a meeting. Government of the people, by the people, is under assault all over the world, and I cherish it. So I come to these meetings in spite of the fact that some of the time in this city I'm not treated very well. In fact, I'm treated badly. This isn't a pity party. This is the truth. So I'm going to give you just a few things that I want to talk about briefly, and I know we have 5 minutes, and there's a huge crowd here that all want to speak. So I took the time. I was out of town for a week in Los Angeles, and then I came back. So I took the time to drive around to our environment here. And, you know, I love living here, but I'm really disappointed in the direction the city is taking. I went to Alpharetta, and everybody's, you know, yahooing about what's going on downtown Alpharetta. And here's what I noticed, that Alpharetta had nothing and is making something. Roswell has a unique, intangible something and is making it into nothing. Think about it. We're taking an incredible thing that everybody's trying to mimic and replicate, and we're just abandoning it and trying to be like homogenized nothingness around the world. I would suggest you do the following things in 2019. One, there should be a moratorium declared on multifamily dwellings which encroach on existing neighborhoods in our historic district. Our historic district is under assault. I can't think of it any other way. It's an attack because all of a sudden it's a desirable place to live when I moved here, nobody gave any flip about it, which may be why we have no sidewalks, no street lamps, no curbs, no nothing. Now all of a sudden it's the in place. Problem is, before you approve any more density, you ought to take care of the infrastructure that's going to serve those people. And that would include connecting sidewalks, crosswalks, pedestrian lights, whether they're hawk or not. It ought to include all the infrastructure that makes a desirable place for walking, because as I've told you, within walking distance is different than walkable or walkable. We're all walkable. We're all within walking distance, but no, pipes sticking up out of black concrete in front of where you're supposed to walk doesn't work. I'm real concerned about the infrastructure in the historic district, because when we built our water treatment plant that went from $8 million to $16 million, we did not increase the capacity of the water plant. And that water plant only serves people within a certain area of downtown Roswell. It doesn't take care of the people on the east side or far west side. It's basically this original part of town. And now that you're putting all this impact with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new residences, we have no increase in capacity for water or sewer. Those are the day-to-day things. The other thing is our firehouse number 1 is seeing a huge, huge increase in calls. I hear the sirens all day long now, and it's still the same little firehouse. So I would ask you that you either give those people a raise or get some more people in there. Chief Burnett's doing a good job. That's not the issue. But it's just an incredible thing. Time goes quickly, sorry. I would also suggest that you wait for the master plan from TSW for the historic district before you do one more thing in this district. It's trying to like patch a pants that you've torn and you forgot to look at the rest of the pants. Nobody should consider the historic gateway project without looking at the master plan first. How can you do that? MARTA bus shops, as you well know, and I'm going to continue for just 1 minute, because I sat at the red light at the intersection of Holcomb Bridge and Grimes Bridge in the pouring rain the other day, and we've had a lot. And there was a man sitting on the bus stop side by Ola, sitting on the roots of a tree, soaking wet, that of above the ground, and that was where he got to wait for the bus. Across the street is a PNC Bank where a mother with 2 toddlers got to sit on an overturned grocery cart, waiting for the bus. I have seen better conditions in Kibera, which is a slum in Nairobi. We have got to do something about our transportation problems in this city to make it a place where people can be safe and comfortable. I've been asking for this for 20 years. The city got millions of dollars from MARTA and didn't use it. They paid it and used it other places. Just right across the street by the Greek restaurant, you know, where you spent $1.97 million on the East Alley project, and when you sit on Highway 9 and you look in, it too looks like a slum. It's not attractive, and we wasted $2 million. And the bus stop right there has 3 broken patio chairs laying on top of each other so people can sit down after they've worked all day. So I'm just going to let you know that we need benches on every corner. We need rocking chairs in front of the front porch. We need to pressure wash buildings that are in the historic district. And since your job is to listen and do what the voice of the people say, that's what I'm saying. And I'll just tell you, I got this Christmas card today. I was a little late, and it said, "Dear Janet," this is from a neighbor, "I wish for you a peaceful, blessed, and joyous Christmas. Thank you for being the neighbor you are, who cares so much for our neighborhood and our city. You are a guardian and are appreciated more than you know. God bless you always." I'm glad somebody appreciates me, because I know that the people who make decisions in this city do not.
Thank you, Ms. Russell. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Yes, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Sally McKenzie, and I live at 47 Goulding Place in Roswell. Happy New Year. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll just yell. Try to straighten it up. There we go. I need to apologize for flooding your mailboxes with my concern regarding the application of preservation law and guidelines with respects to development and review for development in the historic district. But I'm not going to because I'm fervent in my belief that this is our problem, this is our issue. And I'm not sure whether you really read the emails or whether it's you understand what I'm saying, but I'm going to implore City Council to please push this issue with legal and with departments within the city who are involved in the process. From the Historic Preservation Office. There we go. Oh, it didn't quite fit. From the Historic Preservation Office website, the designation of a local historic district protects the historic character of the district. It provides communities with the means to make sure that growth, development, and change take place in ways that respect the important architectural, historical, and environmental characteristics within the district. So that's pretty much the purpose of creating a historic district, is it provides communities with the means. There's a different set of laws and rules and processes that go along with being a historic district. And these processes and rules we are not following, and this is our problem. This is our problem. Also from the website, a local historic district requires, keyword requires, local historic preservation commissions review and approval based on conformance to local design guidelines. And our laws, our local laws, back this up. So they are in, our local laws are actually, you know, they seem to be in accordance with the state law, which is great. And going back and forth with this and trying to understand where our city lies and how we approach it, Mr. Davidson's one of his latest responses was, the easiest way to answer your question is to say that the HPC only has authority delegated to it by council. Council makes all final decisions for the city. Therefore, the HPC cannot undo anything council has granted, but may apply the criteria in a manner that, in the HPC's opinion, is consistent with the guidelines given to them. Well, that's kind of a loopy sentence right there. But let's just go back to council makes all financial decisions for the city. Therefore, the HPC cannot undo anything that the council has granted. Well, the council granted them the rights and responsibilities in 13.7 of our code, which specifies very clearly that they are to review and approve based on guidelines and criteria. That is the ordinance, and that is the ordinance that we are not following. So when you go on and you look at they may apply criteria in a manner that in the HPC's opinion is consistent with the guidelines given to them. How can they apply the criteria in a manner that is consistent with the guidelines if, for instance, BTZ and what is forced upon them by our zoning code or by a height variance by city council goes against what the HPC thinks is or deems is not good for the historic district? This is our problem. And if you look at the open records request and the explanations given to the public, the HPC, to development attorneys, and to me, by our city attorneys, they don't back this up. They tell everybody that our guidelines are not codified. That's wrong. That's just wrong. That's the simple, incorrect answer. The answer is the criteria are codified and the requirement to use them are codified. That's the bottom line. If indeed the easiest way to answer this question is to say that the HPC has authority delegated to it by council and that council makes all final decisions, why isn't this in writing in our preservation ordinance? Why isn't this in writing in 13.7 of the UDC? I asked this question on October 29th in a shorter version at the last public open mic night that I went to, and this is the most complete answer that I've received, Mr. Davidson's, and it's still incomplete. There's nothing in writing. So I'm imploring City Council to push this issue because this is the problem. It is not the master plan. It's going to help. It's a good thing. But this is the problem. The processes and the lack of following the processes and the laws that we have in place that are actually pretty good. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McKenzie. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward? Yes, sir.
Lee Flick, 435 North Pond Trail. My questions are directed towards you, Mayor Henry. Good evening to the rest of you. I hope this is working. On the city's website for the East Roswell Economic Action Committee, it indicates that the person to contact is Mayor Henry's office, so I assume this is part of your office tonight, if that's agreeable with you. I would like to know when we're going to get the committee members annotated on the website, their credentials, and a point of contact for that committee. The DDA has all that information, and it's been a couple of weeks since the appointments have been announced, and I would expect that this would be dated within the week, okay? Within 1 week. I think that's a reasonable request. The other question that I want to pose deals with another issue that's on the city's own website, and that's the gap analysis. Now, in a letter that was sent out, it indicated that we would be kept up to date on internal investigations as they progress. The last update to the city's own website was noted as September 24th when you agreed to the signing the contract with the Center for Public Safety Management. I would like to I'd like to be updated a little more. I found disconcerting. Your contract with them provided address for the chair of that entity. I want to show you something here. Do you see the date that I sent this letter? November 13th. I took this off. This letter was sent back to me on December 16th. I did not get it till the 31st. Now, if this is the entity that is supposed to be providing an analysis of your police department, I find it disturbing they wouldn't even receive a courtesy letter from a member of the public. It basically said that I was glad they were coming down, and I hope that the citizens are very grateful that they're coming down. I followed it up with 2 emails. One, of course, to notify them that the assistant police chief bailed, and then most recently the chief bailed. So I would like the city's website, as it was guaranteed, would be updated, and I want to know what the status is on this. In that original letter that was posted, there was a drop-dead date. I hope you can see it. See it there, December 2018? We've certainly missed that. So I would appreciate it if the city would get its websites and Facebook updated so that we have the transparency and the openness that we hear everybody talking about. Actions speak louder than words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fleck. Sir, would you like to come forward and speak?
Get this tall enough. My name's Alan Urick. I live at 430 Green Oak Drive. It's right off of Canton Street behind kind of Salt and things like that. And I just want to publicly thank Chief Grant for his service to our community. He did a wonderful job, I thought, and also with all the barriers that there were in there. He also, for one thing, saw my granddaughter when my granddaughter wrote him a letter about being about all the traffic that we have on Canton Street, and he was very kind enough. He said he'd come to our home, or our granddaughter and us can come to the chief of police's office, which we did, and he was very kind to us. So I just want to publicly thank him for his service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We always appreciate kind words for our dedicated employees. Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak? Well, thank you again for coming out tonight, and please know that our doors are always open and we are here to hear your concerns. So I appreciate your time and your attendance here this evening, and you all have a great, happy New Year. This meeting is adjourned.